This is what I learned in a cover story published in 1995. The posture photo ritual was not part of the phys ed program, but rather something more widespread and dubious. It seemed that beginning in the 40s and lasting through at least 1971, a pseudoscience crank named William H. Sheldon, who had been influenced by Weimar-era German eugenics theories and made a splash in pop science media, succeeded in convincing almost every elite American college and university, Ivy and Seven Sisters alike, to make available the unwitting 17 and 18-year-old members of their incoming freshman classes to take part in a vast nationwide study of Sheldon's theories about the characterological implications of postural ratios. These included lengths of limbs divided by circumference of waist and neck, etc. Sheldon believed a study of these ratios could reduce each individual to a 3-digit number. It was a continuation of the German and later Nazi quest to define the physical and psychological embodiment of the master race, and those physical specimens who did not fit the profile. Sheldon was not a professed Nazi, but the posture photo procedures were human experiments that violated all sorts of ethical guidelines for use of human subjects with no apparent concern about potential psychological effects. In fact, from the letters I received over the years after my story was published, it seemed that women, in particular, were subject to distress and shock, even trauma, at the time, and especially upon learning they had been used, in effect, as experimental animals with little concern by the institutions that were supposed to act in loco parentis, yet made them the butt of jokes by Ivy League marching bands. How did this happen? I still find it hard to believe. From what I could gather, Sheldon presented college administrators with the chance to participate in an important advancement of science in return for clandestinely sacrificing their student bodies and personal privacy to the greater glory of science. It was only in the aftermath of my Times Magazine story that some of these sacrificial lambs said they'd found it a disturbing experience and thanked me for pulling back the curtain on the mystery of what they'd gone through when often college bureaucrats would be of no help and often came close to denying any of it happened. A denial that became unsustainable when, after a long and complicated quest, I found thousands of the photos, mainly negatives, in neatly labeled caches in the archives of the Smithsonian Museum's anthropological wing. Images of the best and brightest of the American elite, among them future presidential candidates and a past president, all in file boxes along with 19th century explorers' anthropological catalogs of indigenous peoples' bodies. Photos of their alumni the elite institution rushed to claim and destroy, probably before they could be sued. The whole episode exposed the power and default reverence for science and its claimed ability to solve deep mysteries of human nature, and it came back to me when I was shaping this book on the science of love and the attempt to subject love to scientific explanation. Not just love, but, as we'll see, grieving, death, free will, poetry, and evil. My title derives from a late 16th century defense of poetry by Sir Philip Sidney, a sonneteer contemporary of Shakespeare who wrote a once celebrated but now largely forgotten work called An Apology for Poetry. Apology, then used in the now largely archaic theological sense of church apologetics, discourse and debate over, for instance, the true metaphorical or metaphysical meaning of the transubstantiation of the communion wafer. Like many hardcore English majors, I had enjoyed Sir Philip's spirited defense of poetry and his concept of its being an other nature, and so I thought of titling this book An Apology for Love. But to avoid misleading prospective readers with apology, I retreated to in